Hi guys, welcome to Telly Talk, where we talk about what's on the telly, and by that we mean what's on our minds, because we're Telly. I'm Tyler.
I'm Sol, and today we have a special guest, my autism.
Autism is out to play with us today. You know who else's autism is on full display?
Maurice
Flitcroft, main character of the movie, The Phantom of the Open. We have a special episode today because we are recording in real life.
We have
Not
a camera.
on the screen.
Not on a screen.
You can see us.
Wow.
For the first time ever.
This is
because
the
we don't
only
have a
episode
whole
that's
other
going to be like this.
YouTube channel with us in real life at all.
Yeah, this is the only episode that'll probably be like this. It took us ages to get here, to this spot.
We spent an hour trying to find a place to record, and we ended up here. So, appreciate it.
What a scavenger hunt that was. Well, today we're talking about The Phantom of the Open. It's a movie about a golfer.
Based on a true story.
This was a real person. It is mostly accurate to his life. The golfing part
is pretty accurate. There's some other things in his life that aren't completely accurate.
His past wasn't accurate, but we don't care about that.
We researched the real guy, but the movie guy's pretty close. Maurice Flitcroft.
Was a guy. He was a funny guy. He's like the sweetest man ever.
He's sweet. He's a little he's very optimistic and a little gullible. And
he's also autistic.
He doesn't read social cues very well.
He's autistic.
It makes him seem a little stupid.
So he's autistic.
Yeah. Not that I'm calling autistic people stupid, but just him. He comes across as being dumb to people because he doesn't understand what's happening ever.
He's a little silly guy.
He's 50, but he looks like he's 70. And they just had this one actor play him through his entire life, age 20 to 70.
Just like in A Man Called Otto, where Tom Hanks played his old 30-year-old self.
Yeah.
And then also played the 80-year-old version. So in this movie, Maurice has helped his family succeed in what they wanted to do, because when he was younger, he was stripped away of all of his talents,
all of his dreams,
just
and
he had to
work in the shipyard.
Yeah, he had to work as a crane operator in a shipyard, and he was like, I lost all my dreams, so I'm going to make my kids explore all their dreams.
Yeah,
so his first son,
he had a wife and her bastard son.
He had a stepson. He wanted him to be in a creative job, but his son just wanted to be an engineer, and he was fine with that. He accepted him. He was like, yeah, you can be an engineer. But
his son got a degree and became manager of the shipyard where he worked.
Yeah, and he had two more sons that were his actual sons with his wife.
Twins.
They're twins.
James and Jean,
and they become
disco
national
dancers,
world champion disco dancers.
Really, really great disco dancers for 10 years.
That is real. You can look them up.
And then disco
They were
died.
actually disco dancers.
I want to talk about them actually. Once we finish setting up the plot, I'm angry about them.
So, after everyone has achieved their dreams, his wife is like, why don't you find something that you want to do? Because you already helped all of us.
Yeah, all his kids are grown up.
And he's like, I don't know. And then he watched the British Open.
They got a television. On the telly.
It was new. TV was new. There's 3 channels.
That was really good line delivery. It was to a modern audience, them getting the TV was really funny because they're like, wow, a TV. And then his older stepson.
TV was new.
I know. But then the funny part comes. His older son are like, you're going to want to flip through the channels because there's a lot of them. And he's like, how many? And he's like, 3. Completely seriously. That was so many channels. And it was the line delivery, the comedic timing of that to a modern audience with a lot of channels on TV was just perfect. That was so funny.
Oh, yeah. There were only, really 5 channels back then up until, the 80s. Enough about TV lore. Maurice was watching the TV. He was watching the British Open, the golf tournament. Oh my God, the British Open, the golf tournament. And he was like, I want to golf. I want to be a golfer. The man has never played golf in his entire life.
It's open. It's open for everyone.
It's open for everyone.
It's not open for everyone. But,
yeah, it is.
well, anyone can apply, but they have to approve you, and they only approve you if you're a professional golfer, which he said he was, because he was like...
Well, he ticked professional, but there are other options.
Yeah, there was amateur and professional, but amateur needed a handicap, and he was like, I don't know what a handicap is. I don't have a handicap, even though that's not, in golf, a handicap is something else than, like, a real-life handicap. So he was like, that means I'm a professional, I guess. And they were like, okay, you're a professional, you're in. And they were like, why would someone lie about being a professional? Even though... Okay, that's funny that they said that, because in real life, he was inspired by a different guy 10 years earlier who lied about being a professional and got in. So this has already happened in the lore. This is someone else had already lied about being a professional to get in. And they were still like, why would someone do that? That would never happen.
In the movie context, it's never happened.
Those men were stupid.
So he entered the British Open, and then he was like, shit, I gotta, like, practice. Because practice is the road to perfection.
That's the message of the movie. And his friend, his buddy, steals a bunch of golf stuff for him, and he practices, and he thinks he's good, and he's not. And
He's horrible.
he does the Open. He does the Open, and he does the worst score ever, and he gets really famous as being, like, the world's worst professional golfer, but not the world's worst golfer. They interchange between the two, but there's a difference. He's not the world's worst golfer, just the world's worst professional golfer. Because
Yeah.
he called himself a professional, and then he got accepted as a professional, so he's a professional. He's bad. And now can we start talking about it?
Yes.
Okay. There was something... Oh. So, the next year, the plot of the movie is he keeps entering over and over again, like, he enters, like, a total of... Not in the movie, he enters, like, twice, but in real life, he entered, like, 5 times.
In the movie, he entered 4 times. He was French, he was American, he was a different British guy, and he was him.
Oh, right, I forgot to end it. Like, yeah, where he was like, I got one more left in me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, his, like, other son did it.
Yeah, it was his son, his friend, and then someone else.
Yeah.
There
No,
was other
he
son.
was just 3 times in the movie. He was himself, and then he was a French guy, and then at the end he was an American.
I thought it was another guy.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Anyway.
He did identity fraud.
He just kept pretending to be
Technically
other
twice.
people. And the thing is, he was still, even though 1 year later he entered again as a different guy, do you know, he scored, no one knew it was him for a while, he scored, like, par every hole. He was, like, on par, like, the average score. He was, and sometimes he even did better than par. He was playing as good as the other professional golfers the entire time. He got
his second one?
Yes, his second one. 1 year later, after 1 year of golfing, he was as good as all of the professionals. He was, like, on par. And even after that, they were still like, oh, we got to kick him out. He's the worst golfer ever. But it's like, he was good.
I don't think they kicked him out because he was the worst. I think they kicked him out because he was already banned.
Oh, that too. But, like, even then, every time they talked about him after that, they kept calling him, like, yeah, no, you're the world's worst golfer. But, like, after just 1 year of, practicing, he just practiced, like, every day for a year. He was as good as a real professional golfer who's been doing that their entire lives. Like, that's so impressive. Most people could not get that good in a year. That's very, very cool of him.
Yeah, I think, well, usually in life, when you're known for one thing that blows up, that just sticks with you for the
I feel
rest
so
of your
bad
life.
for him because I feel like it's so much more interesting to talk about the fact that in 1 year he got as good as a professional golfer. Like, that's incredible. Like, people should be, like, asking, like, how did you get that good in a year? Like, he should be getting interviews for, like, how did you improve so much in 1 year? Not like, haha, you're the worst golfer.
Well, he did practice every day.
I know.
On the beach, in
And that's
the
why
woods.
practice is the road to perfection.
Practice is the road to perfection.
Like, he got really, really good. That's so cool.
Yeah. I love Maurice, and my list of favorite old men, it goes Otto, Maurice.
Otto, Maurice.
That's it. That's
No
my
other old
entire
men.
list.
Old white men, just those two.
They're just old men in general.
Me and my roommate in college have a bit that when I turn, like, 60, we're gonna stop being friends because she can't be friends with, like, an old white man.
That's fair. That's fair.
The twins are very fun characters. I like them most of the movie. They're like some of my favorite characters in the movie. When they're on screen, they're, like, really fun. They're just little dancing dudes, and they, like, go back and forth. They almost, like, have, like, a Fred and George type bit, and, like, they keep, like, switching places.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, they're just, like, they bounce off each other. They're really funny, like, really classic television twins. And like little jokesters, and the older brother doesn't like them. They're literally, all these characters are like Fred and George and Percy Weasley. Like, the older brother is, like, exactly how Percy Weasley acts in Harry Potter. And
Yeah.
they give very much Fred and George energy. If you like Harry Potter, you should watch this golf movie.
Yeah. If you don't like golf, it's still funny to watch.
Yeah,
like, when
it's
I
like-
went and watched it, I didn't like golf.
It's not like it's about golf, but like that's not the point of the movie. The point is like this. It's a fun. It's like a comedy drama. This guy is funny. His family life is dramatic. Like
He's like the Bob Ross of golf. Like, if you want something like that, watch this movie.
I don't know anything about Bob Ross, but I'm gonna agree with you.
That's a disgrace. That's absolutely horrible.
I know he like paints, but like that's it.
Just imagine Maurice as a painter. And that's him. There's two birds that
I
are
love that.
fighting.
Oh, those dandelions? No, dragonflies are fucking.
There's only
They're
one.
riding each other.
Those birds are fighting.
Right. So I like Jean and James most of the movie, but there's like a weird time gap that they don't really establish. You know that Maurice entered in 1976 and then again in 1977, and then all of a sudden it's 1985. Like there's a 10-year gap when they're like living in the trailer, but they don't they barely acknowledge it's been 10 years. It's like it almost seems like it just happened, but it's been 10 years. You have to pay attention to get that.
Yeah.
It's a little confusing, but these twins have been traveling the world doing disco competitions from like the age of like 17 to like 27. That's so cool. Not many people have the opportunity to just travel the world dancing and like hanging out and like partying.
Oh, yeah.
Like they're just like everybody loves them. They're just this dancing duo traveling the world. Like that's the coolest opportunity ever. And then disco dies and they're pissed about it. And for some reason they're like, I wish my dad just made me go to college and not do my dancing dream. Like you could just get a normal job now. Anything you could do. Anything you would have done when you were 18, not doing this dancing dream, like getting a job or going to college, you could just get that exact same job now or go to college now.
Yep.
But the difference is you had 10 years of traveling the world, doing something you love and having a lot of fun. Why would you be like, I would rather have not done that and just gone straight into the workforce. Like, you could do the same thing now. I get you're pissed, but that was just so stupid, in my opinion.
They would have been bored. They would have been like, damn,
Yeah.
I really wish I took up disco dancing.
It would have been so much more fun to follow your dream for 10 years, have a great time, then that dream dies, and you're like, okay, now I can do the normal stuff, instead of going straight into the normal stuff. Why would you want to make that trade? They're idiots. I know they were pissed off and, like, upset, but they're idiots in that moment. Other than that, I love the entire movie, but that annoyed me.
Yeah. I loved how, the older son, what was his name? Mike realized in the end that, like, he really loved his father. And he, like, went and traveled to America to go see him.
I like how it wasn't just because those business people liked him. Like, even before he found out the business people liked his dad, like, he still was like, yeah, no, that's my dad. I'm proud of him.
Yeah.
And then the business people were like, oh my god, I love your dad. And then it was, like, and then the boss was like, oh, yeah, we love him. And the boss was a dick.
I don't see no shadow.
Damn.
Planes don't have shadows.
Conspiracy theory. Mike was like a real dick for someone who to Maurice when this man took him in, like treated him as if he was just completely his own son, like completely like cared for him and helped him get to school and like gave him so much better of a life than he would have had if he just didn't have any dad. Like if he was just like with a single mom his whole life, his life got so much better because he also had Maurice to provide for his family and like help him follow his dreams and like getting to engineering school and all of that. And he was just so ungrateful to him. He was like, yeah, I'd be better off if you weren't my dad. Like, no, you wouldn't be. Come on, you're smarter than that. He's just an asshole.
Like, all
I would
Maurice did was just help him.
If Maurice was like a shitty dad, you could like, okay, that's fair. But he was just a really nice man. He's like sounds like the best dad, right? Like anyone would be lucky to have Maurice as a dad. Top 2 old men, man.
Yeah.
Top 2 of all old men in the world.
Yeah. Like, also, the end, not to spoil the end, but the end speech with Maurice and his wife, when he's talking about his wife, he says this about his wife. He's like, I dedicate everything to my wife, because if life was a cup of tea, the tea by itself is just completely unbearable and disgusting. And my wife is the sugar. Once you put that sugar in, it's the best thing that could ever.
Did you say that?
Yeah.
I kind of
It's
remember that.
the best thing that could ever have been put in the tea.
I like.
It makes the tea tastes amazing, and without it, it's just disgusting.
Not that part, but I really like the part of the end speech where there was like this like 20-year-old like kid who plays golf, and when he was like in high school, he had a really bad time, and he was
I
like.
thought it was like when he was a kid.
Maybe it was when he
I thought
was
he
younger.
was like 17.
I don't know. There's this like young adult man, and when he was younger, he had a really bad, not really bad, but just like a normal bad like golf day playing golf, and he like lost a thing.
He just did really bad.
And he just had a bad day, and he comes home and he's like, I'm gonna quit golf. And he turns on the TV and he sees Maurice score like the worst professional golf score ever, and he's like, well, it wasn't that bad. If this guy can golf, I guess I can golf. And then he went on to be like going to like Australia for a national golf championship thing. And that's just so cool that and then Maurice comes up and is like, oh, I'm so glad I got, even like all of it was worth it to just inspire like one person like you. Like, that's so sweet. Like, he just inspired this kid. That was beautiful.
Also, the reason why he went to America is because in America there was they made a tournament around him where anyone can participate, and the best score wins.
And they invited him for like the 10-year
or like
anniversary
the
of the
worst
tournament,
score
which is
wins.
like you're like 10 years have passed because it was like the 10-year anniversary of the tournament.
Yeah, it was adorable. This was such a great movie.
It was a really fun movie, but we don't have a lot to talk about. Like, I don't know, it was just a really good movie to watch, but like,
I didn't really study it. I kind of just watched it to watch it.
Yeah, we just watched it for enjoyment instead of like
studying it,
taking notes to talk about. It was just like, man, this is a fun movie.
Yeah,
it was good. It was good. We recommend it.
What would you rate it out of 5 stars?
I liked it a lot, but it wasn't like the best movie I've ever seen. But I liked it a lot. I'm gonna say 4 out of 5.
4 to 5. I'd give it like a 4.6 out of 5.
Good movie.
Good movie. Who's your favorite character?
Either Maurice or the twins.
Not counting Maurice.
Oh, the twins. Which one? You pick one.
Which twin?
Which twin? Fine, Jean.
Jean? Which one was that?
The funny one.
They're both funny.
I know. Sometimes, like, James would say something to Jean, and I'd be like, and he would call him Jean, and I'd be like, oh, so that one's Jean. And then I'd be like, I like Jean.
My favorite character was, Cliff. No.
The friend who would steal stuff?
Yeah.
And, like, was like, oh, I can't go back to jail. We're stealing a golf cart.
Yeah.
We're going.
I like that guy. He was cool. I loved him. He was
Yeah.
funny. I see myself in him.
Have fun with our shortest podcast ever.
Shortest podcast, but also the coolest one.
Best movie.
Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget that you can actually watch or listen to the podcast on Spotify a day early on Thursday instead of Friday when it comes out on YouTube.
If you're really excited to listen to us
So
talk
you guys
about
should go listen to
life
it
or
on
movies,
Spotify.
you should go to our Spotify. You can listen to it, and then you can watch us.
Yeah.
See everything.
Yeah.
See your cool editing when you do our Discord and like the movie clips, but then also
Well,
listen to
the
it
video,
early.
it's only audio on Spotify.
No, I mean listen to it Spotify first, and then come back and then see
Oh,
the cool
yeah,
editing
yeah.
on the YouTube video
Yeah.
with all the movie clips and stuff.
Yeah. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe right now. Do it right now.
Subscribe
like,
and share
leave
to
a
anyone
comment.
who likes golf.
Share golf.
Or if you don't like golf, if you don't like golf or do like golf, either way you should go watch her golfing
Yes.
vlog because it's funny, and you should share that too.
Yes.
And you can comment any other movies you want us to talk about on this podcast.
Yeah.
And we will
Comment your favorite movie, and maybe we'll watch it.
We will totally do a podcast on it.
Follow us on TikTok and Instagram.
You can see some cool behind the scenes videos and pictures.
We post TikToks that you
Like
will
daily.
not see.
You won't see them unless you're on our TikTok.
You gotta go
You'll
watch
see them very late on
Exclusive,
YouTube.
funny content.
We post daily on TikTok, and then they get posted like late on the weekends. Watch The Phantom of the Open.
Watch The Phantom of the Open. We'll see you next week. Have a good weekend. Bye.